Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon. This is another gorgeous, warm day in Maryland that God has blessed us with. We're not complaining because it surely could be worse, but we're happy that you joined with us today on this platform, acknowledged as Project 365, where we have the opportunity to bring you hope, encouragement, and inspiration for 365 consecutive days. So we're doing that. I am Portia Wheatley. I am the founder and the president of a nonprofit organization acknowledged as Trophy of Life Incorporated, where again, we have the opportunity to bring you hope and encouragement. So we just decided to add on inspiration. Let me bring in my co-host.
Hello, everyone. Happy Wednesday. My name is Takira Swan, and I am so happy to be here with you today. Today, we have a very special guest, but before we bring her on for her to tell her story, I need all of our viewers to go to YouTube whenever you get a chance. Like, share, subscribe, so that you can help us bring hope, encouragement, and inspiration across the entire world. Entire
world. You know, our words have power.
Yes.
Our words have power in death and life, or in the power of the tongue. So let's speak it into the atmosphere and watch God do it. Watch God continue to do it, because he's already doing it now. Because today our guest comes from the state of Utah, and we're so happy to have Margaret Heighton with us on today. It's amazing how different people love. Today, we're talking about loving unconditionally. Sometimes there are individuals that are kind of hard to love. Then again, there are individuals that are special, where you really do have to find a love that's just for that individual. There are some that is only God can give you the love for them. Well, we're going to put all this in a basket, because Margaret is one that has so much love to give. And that is exactly what the world needs today. We need not just love, the gift of love, literally. Only God can give that to us. But Margaret has a story to share with us, an experience, life experience. And I love it because Margaret is 71 years young, and she's just beginning. She's not slowing down at all. She's not slowing down at all. And I'm grateful for the opportunity for us to connect, because I'm looking for us to do things beyond Project 365. Today, Margaret, I just want to say thank you. Thank you for accepting my invitation to come. And I'm glad that we connected, and we don't know what's in the future, but I know today you're going to share some good stuff with us. You have the platform.
Thank you. I'm really excited to share my story of hope and encouragement. My name is Margaret Heighton. I am 71 years young. My wonderful husband, Dave, and I have been married for 48 years. I'm the mother of 7 children, foster mom to 1, mother-in-law to 4, and Oma, or grandma, to 10 grandchildren. I'm the founder of No End to Love. We work with families in Kenya to create sustainable opportunities so they can thrive and move beyond survival. My life experiences have challenged me, changed me, and taught me skills I needed to make it to where I am today, a humanitarian who at the age of 70 founded my own nonprofit, No End to Love. I know I am doing a work that the Lord has called me to do. The question I am asked is, why Kenya? Why not here, where there's so much need? My answer is always the same. The Lord called me to work in Kenya, a journey that began 43 years ago when my son Tommy was born continues today. New challenges, new adventures, and new friends are always just around the corner. Let me tell you about the adventure that started it all. May 18th, 1978 was a life-changing day for our family. I gave birth to my third child and my second son at home, but Tommy's entrance into this realm did not go smoothly. Both of us ended up riding in an ambulance to a hospital. Tommy's first few weeks were spent in a neonatal intensive care unit. He was having seizures, which they attempted to control with drugs, and I started advocating for him to be taken off the drugs, and I eventually won. As a result, my bright-eyed child with a beautiful smile emerged from a drug-induced shroud, and he didn't have another seizure for over 8 years. After being in denial for several months that there were no long-term effects from this beginning experience, I started negotiating the world of special needs and disability. I began learning how to be a mother and an advocate for a child with special needs. Tommy had cerebral palsy. He neither walked or talked, but he had a smile that would melt your heart. I learned a great deal from being Tommy's mom. The first and foremost was to open myself up to a world that I had avoided most of my life, the world of those that are different than me. Tommy taught me that people who are different from me are not to be feared, but are to be embraced with love and caring. Tommy taught me how to advocate for those who cannot advocate for themselves. He taught me that communication is far more than words. And he taught me that loving someone can hurt, but you go ahead and love anyway. Love is always worth it. Tommy added so much to our family. We as parents learned a great deal, but he also taught his brothers and sisters so much. His presence in our home still defines our family today. 2 more girls and 2 more boys joined our family after his birth for a total of 7. After the initial trauma of his birth, we eventually settled into a routine. Tommy became part of our daily life. We did the same things as other families. We went to lots of doctor's appointments, family camping trips, school activities, attended church, ate at restaurants, and even went to Disneyland. At one point, both Tommy and our youngest Daniel were in the hospital at the same time. We negotiated with the doctors for the same hospital, but they were on different floors. That experience was just a little stressful. Tommy and his wheelchair just went everywhere with us. He attended Girl Scout day camp with the rest of us when I was the day camp director. My husband started doing the grocery shopping when Tommy graduated from a car seat to his first wheelchair. Turns out I couldn't push a wheelchair, hang on to 2 or 3 toddlers, and push a grocery cart all at the same time. So our lifestyle adapted and changed as needed. In 1991, the Lord had more lessons heading our way. Tommy had been having increasing difficulty eating and was becoming frailer. He was admitted to the hospital for tests and evaluation, which resulted in a year in and out of hospitals and rehabilitation facilities and long trips to the rehabilitation centers. He finally came home and even went back to school for a while, but in the end, his little body that had endured so much could no longer fight. He returned to his Heavenly Father when he was 13 and a half years old. And I faced more life-changing challenges, deep depression, rebellious teenagers, feeling all alone, living in a house with 7 other people, to name just a few. I still had 6 living children that needed me, and I muddled through day to day and eventually returned to a semblance of normal life. Tommy's influence on others was wide and deep. I continue to run into people who were touched by Tommy's life. On Memorial Day weekend, we were out at the cemetery putting flowers on his grave when a young man walked by and said, "I thought this was Tommy Heighton's grave." This young man, Sammy Gardner, was born the same year as Tommy. lived in the same neighborhood, and attended the same church. Sammy told us about how he and the other children would push Tommy up and down the halls of the church, probably at speeds that were not quite proper for church. But Tommy loved it. All these years later, Sammy took the time to stop and share his memories of Tommy with us. His father has now joined Tommy in the same cemetery. We had a heart-touching reunion with Gardner family. And again, I was reminded that Tommy touched so many in his short 13 years here on earth. I also learned that as Tommy's mom, I made a difference in other people's lives. A few years back now, I ran into one of the Girl Scout leaders that had been at day camp with us. And she shared with me the difference I had made in her life. She eventually had to care for her husband as he was dying of cancer. She told me she often drew strength in those hard emotional days from my example of caring for Tommy. She would tell herself, if Margaret could be a day camp director and take care of Tommy and all her other young children, I can do this. I was surprised and was deeply touched. Know that when you are doing good and striving to do your best, you are making a difference, encouraging others, giving hope, and inspiring others to do their best as well. I wasn't until recently realizing the full impact that Tommy had in my own world. Of course, I know having a child with a disability had an impact, but I didn't realize to what depth being his mother had affected me until I began working with families in Kenya. After losing Tommy, over the years, I kept searching for something outside of myself that was as impactful as being Tommy's mom. Although I'm not really sure I knew that I even knew I was searching. I did self-improvement courses, tried hypnosis, started a job, started a business, closed a business, and took on an adult foster son. Jason will be 45 this year, and he's been with us for over 18 years now, but that is a story for another time. My first trip to Kenya in 2016 was to meet Facebook friends. I returned in 2018 because the country and the people stole my heart and forever changed my perspective on life. After returning home in the middle of November from my first trip, my husband told me we needed to finish up the trim around our windows that was still unfinished after a recent kitchen remodel. I looked at him and I firmly stated, no, we don't. Our house is far more than a mud hut, and the windows can wait. We are still waiting, but hopefully this year we will actually finish up the trim around what I have come to refer to as my Kenyan windows, a reminder that I've been blessed with abundance by the Lord. As I began my humanitarian efforts, I worked through other organizations until finally I decided I needed my own voice. In February 2020, my daughter, my husband, and I filed paperwork, and in June 2020, we received our official IRS 501(c)(3) status. While I have many stories to share about the families we have assisted on their way to self-reliance, today I want to talk about a friend who took care of me on my last visit. Zilot took such good care of me while I was in Olakari. Each morning, he would bring me a basin of hot water for bathing, along with a thermos of hot goat's milk to make hot chocolate. He assisted in the preparation of all the meals that were served while I was there. He made sure that all my needs were met. He was a blessing in my life. I know he sacrificed a lot to make my visit memorable. This past April, Zilot was attacked on his way to work by a mother elephant and lost his life. He was a gentle giant of a man. I have fond memories of our time together. He served quietly behind the scenes and made sure everything ran smoothly when I was visiting. Zealot had a great impact on my life, which I did not fully understand until his earthly presence departed. When Alex told me of his passing, it took my breath away. When the reality hit my soul, I cried. Zealot wanted to take me to his home to meet his wife and children. The trip was planned. It was just a short walk from where I was staying. But I became ill the day of the trip, and I was unable to go. I told Zealot, when I am here next time, it will happen. When I am in Kenya again, I will make that trip so I can greet his wife and his children who are left behind to continue without their beloved husband and father. Zealot left behind 9 children, 8 children. 5 of them are school-age children, and 1 of them's in heaven, and 1's a preschool child. No End to Love has taken on the challenge to assist Zealot's widow in making sure these children will have the privilege to continue their education. So far, the Lord has provided enough for them to get through this term. Now we must have trust and faith that the Lord will provide for future terms and years as well. When we first began in January 2017, we started sponsoring 5 students from 1 family in 1 village. Today we support, with lots of help from others, 35 students in 12 families from 5 villages are being sponsored by No End to Love. We put smiles on faces and assist in building self-reliant communities, 1 family and 1 village at a time. Our students are one of the reasons I'm so excited about our newest and latest business initiative, the Olotoroki Project. Olotoroki is Maasai for bee. We have recently installed 50 beehives, 25 hives in each of 2 villages in Kenya. This project has the potential to truly bring self-reliance to Kenyan communities. I am so grateful to our generous donors who have made it possible to get this project underway. Now, as the hives are being colonized by native bees, we only need to raise funds for the harvesting equipment. The Olotoroki project will strengthen the trust and faith the villagers must have to be self-reliant and give people hope for their future to be better. It has the potential to provide enough income to pay school fees for all of our students, including Zealot's children. May the Lord bless the bees as they colonize the hives to create abundance for our families. Unfortunately, the first harvest will not happen until after money is needed for the next term starting in July. I pray and I trust that funds will be provided so all of our students will be able to continue their education until the beehives start producing. There are other things that we have done and are doing in order to move towards our goal of self-reliance. We are partway through our first major community water project, and hopefully as COVID slows down and the rainy seasons end, our first spring rehabilitation in Olakari will be completed. We have assisted with chickens, goats, and cows. We have sponsored menstrual hygiene and puberty trainings, along with the distribution of menstrual hygiene kits for schoolgirls and underwear for schoolboys. We sell beadwork our Kenyan mamas make to earn money for their children's school fees. We have built 2 new mud huts for 2 widows and their children. We have a 3rd mud hut waiting to be funded for a family with 9 children. Their 2-room mud hut is deteriorating and is far too small to house the growing family. It is time to build a new home for the Inja family. It is satisfying to know these families have the opportunity of a better future because I made a decision to care and have been instrumental in influencing others to care. It truly takes a village to make a difference. No man is an island. Reaching out to others that need our assistance, whether it be in our home, our family, our own neighborhood, or across the world, is an act done in partnership with God. People who do not have the ability to reach out and make a difference for others are indeed poor. May the Lord bless them. In the beginning, I doubted I could make a difference, but I started anyway. Think of the little boy who saved starfish on the beach by throwing them back in the ocean. When someone doubted that he could make a difference, he stooped down, picked up another starfish, and threw it into the ocean and stated, "I made a difference for that one." No End to Love is making a difference, one family, one village at a time. Every time I think I cannot give any more, the Lord expands my capacity one way or another.
Mhm.
Small and large consistent contributions make a difference. What is your capacity to give? Whatever it is, the Lord expects that of you. It's a decision between you and the Lord. Where does the Lord want you to make a difference? Not everyone can or should start their own nonprofit, but everyone can support an organization or several. If all those who have capacity to give would give, poverty in the world could be eliminated and many social ills would be resolved. No matter the size, whether it be $10, $100, or $1,000 a month, somewhere in between, charitable giving done consistently makes a difference. Choose wisely so your dollars are making a difference in a way that is meaningful to you. Remember, giving blesses the giver and the receiver. I would like to do a shout out to Alex and Timothy, two young men in Kenya who have been assisted by No End to Love. Today, they are both serving as our community representatives, our boots on the ground, and they make a huge difference to my life. They are both on their way to self-reliance. Thank you so much for allowing me to share my passion with you today. I hope I have inspired you to look for opportunities where you can make a difference in your world, so others will find hope and encouragement to go after their dreams. Feel free to check out our Facebook page to see the difference we are making. If our mission speaks to you, we would be honored to be your partner in making a difference in the world. Let your heart be your guide. Our families can always use the support and appreciate it. Again, I am thankful to Portia for this opportunity to share my story. Thank you, Portia.
Margaret, oh, I tell you, that was great. That was a great share and sharing your heart. Thank you so very much. I tell you, it's amazing how we as humans have to accept people with differences. If we want to love, God will allow us to love, but you have to want to do it. And then there are times when, whether you want to or not, there are sometimes we have to back up from our own self and see their situation. And like, okay, I have the capacity that I can love you until you're able to love yourself, until you're able to build on what you have, in addition to what I share with you. So it's amazing. And the different cultures, yeah, the different cultures, we have to embrace differences.
Embrace differences.
Yes, embrace differences. It's amazing how, again, being human, you just want to love on someone. We must show love, God's love. We have to show, God is love. So we have to show love, and we represent God in the earth, whether it's in Kenya, Africa, wherever you want to go, in Hawaii and Maine, Florida, New York, the USA, everywhere. As long as we're living, we have to show God's love. We really do have to show God's love. I had a question for you. That is, why are bees important in Kenya?
The way we're doing this bee project is because there's a real potential for income in for these communities, because we're doing it not just one beehive that will provide enough honey for the family, but we're doing it larger than that. And we have been able to secure a contract for purchase of our honey and our royal jelly and our bee venom and stuff. And this project has the potential to raise about $50,000 a year, just just with the 50 beehives that we have. And as we can expand those to other communities, we can expand our outreach and our capacity to assist other communities to become self-reliant. And the goal is eventually these beehives will be turned over to the communities to manage themselves and to take care of the money themselves and stuff as time goes forward with it.
So being a 501c3 myself and knowing some of the very, very large 501c charity organizations, they're not always honest, but I know you and we got that thing going on. Every penny goes towards the actual
like
purpose.
At this point, I'm the only one that does anything, and my young men get a very, very small stipend each month for the gas they use and stuff as they run around and do my food relief projects and stuff. But without something like this to move us forward, we will just be begging dollars all of the time.
I would imagine. And at this very second, let me give a shout out to my nonprofit team. They work with me. Once they hear that the Lord has given me a thought or idea and I present it to them, they back me 100%, and I'm grateful. And then they're not just yes people, because they ask questions. How are we going to do this? Change this? They give me input and feedback. So I'm very grateful for that. And they give me finances, money, funds. So I'm just grateful to God for a team. And I pray that God will bring you a team of people that are able to fund your ideas and your thoughts and your whatever you want to do to make things happen for you, to see the vision come to pass. And you know what, talking about those two gentlemen that you give a small stipend to, I know there were a couple of gentlemen from Kenya, I think, that was on my phone as a friend request. I'm not for sure. I think that's because you were the only one.
It might have been Alex and Timothy. So.
Now, it was one of them I accepted. And
I
then
know
the
that
other
Alex is watching us right now, so you can say hi.
Hi, Alex. Hi, Alex. And whoever the other person was, I just deleted him because I'm like, I don't know who you are. So send it to me again. Send it to me again. Okay. So it's amazing. Okay, we can't do that. Send it to me again and I'll make sure I accept it. Okay. All right, Margaret, I tell you, one of these days we're going to see you in the spotlight. Even if we don't, you're doing it from your heart. That is my thing. And whatever, to our audience, whatever your contribution to society, to humanity, to the community, to your family, to the church, to anyone, from your heart, just do it. You don't need the spotlight. Actually, you really don't need the spotlight. God sees you. And if you're doing it just because of the spotlight, you've got your reward right there. So I encourage you to do whatever you want to do, but do it from your heart and watch some things fall right into place.
Yeah, the Lord called my heart and I couldn't deny it. That's
a good one.
That's such a great statement. Well, Miss Margaret, I just want to say you are one of the cutest and most loving and caring guests that we've had on our broadcast. And it's just been a pleasure meeting you today. You're so genuine and you're so sweet. and talk about sharing hope, encouragement, and inspiration around the world. You're literally doing that. So I commend you on that because I know it's not easy. And a couple of things I just want to mention that you stated to our viewers. One thing that you said that really stuck out to me was what and where's your capacity to love? And it's your responsibility to give back. So I just want, if our viewers don't get anything from this amazing story today, ask yourself, what and where, is your capacity to love? What is the capacity that God gave you to love and to give back on this earth while you're here? So that's just really something to reflect on. And two, I think your story is such a great example of how you never know how you're going to affect somebody doing just what you were here to do, doing something as simple and as hard as loving. Because loving, I tell you, is such a simple, free thing to do, but sometimes it can be very, very hard. But God, I tell you, the special ones like yourself, He gives special assignments of love to, and you really do fulfill that and pay it forward in your work. And the last thing I just want to tell to our viewers, I don't know if I heard this correctly, and if you guys heard this correctly, you were 70 years young when you started your organization?
That's correct.
Guys, it's never too late to start. Don't think, oh, time's passed me by, I don't know how I can make a change. Just start right where you are. It's never too late. Start small, and then God can take that little small thing you started and make it to a huge impact, like our guest here today. So that's one thing I just wanted to mention. That really stuck with me. I wrote that down as soon as you said it. I was like, oh, 70 years young. I'm telling you, the idea that God has given you to help others, it's never too late. Just go forward. And Ms. Portia, just want to let you know that Alex is in the comments. He said hello, and he is watching live. So just want to put that out there. But I just want to also thank you so much for coming on our broadcast today. And I know you're going to continue to do well and change lives by everything that you do to pay it forward. So thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I truly appreciate it.
We definitely want to make the appeal to our audience. Take the time to listen to those that may not be like us, look like us, praise God like us, live like us, but they have the love of God in their heart. Listen to people, because when it comes, when your turn comes, you're going to want people to listen to you. So I encourage you, check out our videos, the messages that people bring, in addition to Margaret, the messages that they bring. Listen, maybe a little different than you, but listen. And then when you come, we're going to listen to you. Is that fair? I think that's fair. All right. On that note, we are going to leave you for today. Again, Margaret, thank you so very much for that heartfelt share and that all of that information. The other question, now the honey, does it stay there or do they ship out?
Yeah, they ship to various countries, but in that area of the world, they don't ship over here. And
Sure.
Some of the honey will actually be able also to be sold or given to some of our families locally too. So we will keep a little bit of the harvest to help with food in the communities.
Do you have an idea when you go back to Kenya again?
I'm hoping this fall. My daughter and I are kind of talking dates right now. So I was supposed to go last year, but you know what last year did to everybody.
Yes. Well, just know that you're on our prayer list, that God will provide for you whatever you need to go and to return safely. All right.
Thank you.
Our audience, we shall see you tomorrow at
1 o'clock.
Blessings.